thought you were crazy. About to board the ferry, and no, that big ship over there is not the ferry, it's this little one down here, which we can see the roof of. South Island over there, Bluff up there, Stewart Island, Rakiura. We're heading straight out towards Oban. Margaret's looking okay, not seasick yet. That's good. We have arrived at Oban. We're waiting for the luggage to come off the ferry over there. Here it comes, they're bringing some of it around by the looks, by the sound of it. And we've got a lift organised to take us back to our accommodation. Pretty good, eh? Yeah. Well, we're here on the sun deck at the Ponga B&B we're staying at. And what a fantastic view of Oban. It's got the township down there, looking great on an excellent sunny day. Many islands offshore. I don't know whether you can make them out, but there's a whole series of islands running all offshore. Tiny little islands in the harbour. Quite a lot of boats in the harbour. Jim's got a garden going on here. Lots of fruit and veggies and all sorts of things growing there. Oh, there's a wood pigeon up in the tree. Very big fella. Don't know whether you can see him up there, but he's just sitting up on the top branches of that tree, black with a white chest. And down here, we've got the, looks like the house cat, also settled down for a nap in the sea. You're clearly looking for handouts. What it gives you. Cheeky bird.
I'm not giving you human food.
Cheeky bird. Cheeky bird.
Right.
No, not a good idea to come inside. There's a few hills around Oban, and we've been engaging low gear to walk up some of them. It's keeping us busy, but it's lovely scenery. The township down there. And there's tree ferns everywhere. Some of these tree ferns are quite tall. They're different to the tree ferns at home. We're walking around to something called Bathing Beach. Apparently it looks wonderful at low tide.
Bathing Beach is this way.
Excellent view of Oban Township, looking back into the harbour. And climbed up the hill out of town. We've got a quiet little walking track to take us down to Bathing Beach. Yeah. We've been told that Bathing Beach is a great location. A beautiful view across the beach at low tide. So low tide's in about 15 minutes. So it should be looking really nice. Lots of lush, almost rainforest through here around Oban.
Look at the view over there.
And then, yes, there's a view of the islands out there, of the outer parts of Half Moon Bay. Oh, this is Bathing Beach. It does look rather nice, doesn't it? Lovely, lovely sheltered bay. It's a little bit cool for swimming today. We haven't brought our bathers. What a shame.
Down there.
Yeah, they're always to catch it down on the beach. This is Bathing Beach at low tide. There's a real ridge of sand along there, quite noticeable. And yeah, all of this is covered at high tide, so now's a good time to be walking along the beach, not high tide. Lovely sheltered. You can see why it's called the Bathing Beach.
Well, I'd say it's in one of the top few, in the top 3. Norman Bay, Jetties Beach and Bathing Beach here. All the bush going right down to the sea.
Yep, plenty of bushland around here. New Zealand bush. Dense. Most of this is all native bush too. It's a bit of a run around to get from the Bathing Beach up here to the road at Mill Creek. We had to negotiate our way around because there's 2 creeks, but there's a track. We went up over the hill and we got there. Well, it's a cemetery, fairly routine sort of thing, local town cemetery. But I'll tell you what, when you look around, it sure is a cemetery with a view out to sea, out across Bathing Beach. A very, very peaceful sort of setting. Oh, and I don't know whether you can see in the distance, but there's the ferry coming in right over here. Here we are in the Matarau Moana Gardens. They've got them organised into sections. There's alpine plants over here. I think this was set up by a lady who went on a mission of conservation in about the 1930s to preserve New Zealand native vegetation, native plants. She could see that they were being significantly affected, and she set up these gardens and embarked on conservation missions well ahead of her time. But, yeah, there's coastal plants over here somewhere I saw a sign to. These ones are alpine, look like one of the alpine daisies there we saw up around Mount Cook. A good view back to Oban Harbour in the distance. You see the ferry wharf, boat maintenance yards, moorings, and all the houses up the hills. So we're halfway through a walk out to Horseshoe Bay. The whole of Half Moon Bay. Right around there. Right around, including Bathing Beach, Bragg's Beach, and every now and then we get these gorgeous views out to sea. The water down there is so clear, it's brilliant. This is on Dead Man Beach. What a day. I mean, really. If you had told me that I was going to get this sort of weather on Stewart Island, I would have thought you were crazy. impossible on a January day in Stewart Island, which is more than 47 degrees south. It's like further south than anywhere in Australia. It's way south of Tasmania, and you've got this beautiful day. It's about 20 degrees. I think maybe forecast to be about 18 today, but here with the sun out it feels a lot more, and just loving it, just loving it. We've got a bit to go still on the Horseshoe Bay track. It goes up there and up that hill, but it's a very steep track we're going down. Ridiculously steep, really, but just a short section and back to level walking. Just came up here to Honeymoon Point. That's the trig marker. The view out there, and around the other way, that's the view into Honeymoon Bay. Beautiful beach in there, big deep bit of water. Seagulls all down there on the water. They've got something, they've got fish they're chasing. There's some terns and some gulls by looks. They're very eagerly chasing some food. Well, we're at Horseshoe Bay now, just enjoying the sheltered beach along here. It's a very pleasant setting. Quite a few houses along the shoreline of the bay. It's extremely sheltered because it's protected from the open sea, which is off to the right there. And we're going to head back out on the road from here. The short route back. I think it's only 2 or 3 kilometres back to Oban. Should enjoy the walk. See you soon. Well, here we are in the main street of Oban again. It's the sun's come out. It was cold and I put a jacket on, and now I'm feeling hot again because that sun's come out and the wind seems to have eased off. It's a bit of a pattern here on Stewart Island. The sun makes all the difference. Margaret's lying down here asleep on the nature strip because the cafe people kicked her out. She was just misbehaving. The cafe had to kick her out. So you can see her down there. She's definitely flaked out on the nature strip. I mean, what sort of world is this when strange people wearing MBTC jerseys from Melbourne are flaked out on the nature strip of Oban? I mean, it's an insult to this whole locality, isn't it? Anyway, these are the things that happen. We've just been for a lovely hike out to, not Honeymoon Bay, I was calling it Honeymoon Bay. It's called
Horseshoe Bay.
Horseshoe Bay, that's right, Horseshoe Bay.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And we had a great time there. Then we came back here. Look, this is Oban, whether you can see, but it's actually a little township. It's got a great little pub down there that we're going to go have to sample the beer in. It's got an excellent, quite sophisticated museum across the road. They've even got the sophistication of a bicycle in the front window of the museum. And there are 1, 2, 3 cafes along the main street. So that tells you that it's a pretty fancy little town. So we're happy. Tomorrow we're going to go to Ulva Island, see if we can spot a kiwi or two. Margaret says she saw one last night. In fact, she says that the kiwi was so entranced with her head torch that it came running out and ran up to her feet and was pecking at her feet.
Yes,
I do not believe this claim.
True, I didn't take a photo.
I cannot believe this claim. Kiwis are supposed to be very shy birds.
No,
They don't come running out and peck at people's feet.
You didn't know that I was a human.
This is what I've been told.
You didn't know that I was a human. You thought that I was a post.
Oh, Margaret thinks that the kiwi thought she was just a post.
And I stood still.
Fair enough. Anyway, more about it later on. We shall hopefully see kiwis tomorrow. Maybe. Or maybe tonight.
Somebody from his own board, you've got to tell me. Biosecurity, no rats, no seeds. Please don't feed the birds.
amazing how clear the water is. Down to the bottom, see the fish around the jetty. We're going out to Ulva Island for a bit of a walk around in a protected sanctuary. And look out at Patterson Inlet now, which is quite a big inlet. It goes right across those hills in the far distance and extends inland for about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 kilometres or more. Ulva Island is preserved island where they've managed to eradicate all the rats and reinstate a whole lot of species, both bird species and a lot of the plant species have been preserved and regenerated.
Just come into Post Office Bay, the site of the first post office on Stewart Island. That's where it used to be. Tells you a little bit about it in a self-guiding booklet. If you see or hear some birds, just stop on the track. The robin will come down and eat at your feet if you stay still, and all the other birds will relax.
This is just such an amazing green forest reserve. Huge trees, all the green lush vegetation. Unusual looking tree ferns, very different to the tree ferns back home. They grow tall and skinny. That was probably a tui up in the tree above us. Trees covered with little ferns growing on it. All these little ferns. We're just walking through this forest and I stopped to check my camera, and then there was a robin landed right at my feet, right in front of me, and then it came out closer and closer. Couldn't get a photo of it. It actually pecked at my feet, and then before I knew what had happened, we turned around and there's a couple of purple-crowned parakeets and also a couple of saddlebacks, a fairly rare bird. So there's quite a lot of bird life here. Just get a bit of a view of the forest, looking down into that little gully. Lots of these big tall trees, the rimu. And this funny looking plant in front of us is called a lancewood. Young ones, very tall with very long leaves. Walking along a narrow ridge between two little gullies on either side.
There is a sea lion on this track here.
Oh, the track. We've just been told that there's a sea lion on Boulder Beach, which is where we're heading to, but he's actually gone up the track a bit, the track to West End, and you sort of can't get past him because he's a little bit aggressive. So we'll go to Boulder Beach and have a look at that track, and if we have to turn around and come back and go the other way, we'll have to do that. A deep little gorge here. Just try and get the sense of the environment. This gorge runs, I suspect, down to Boulder Beach, which is where we're heading. The view of Boulder Beach looking out onto Patterson Inlet. It's a Boulder Beach, I think, just because it's got one big pile of rocks in the middle. It's actually fairly sandy, but it's just a beautiful setting, calm seas, the wind's blowing from the north. It's a beautiful warm day.
Now look, no, not good. No, you have to have bird food. Humans have human food. Makes sense? Yeah, sorry, I'm not giving you anything. It's not good because, oh, I'm opening up my bag. Ooh, what's in?
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah, they like inside bags. They want to see inside your bag. Now listen. Now go on now. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No.
Oh,
I think that's why everybody else is out in the rocks.
Cheeky and inquisitive.
Well, we're on Boulder Beach now. We had lunch here, after we evaded the salutations of the Weckers to try and purloin our lunch. We actually managed to eat it, and now we're just enjoying the view. Next bit of track goes out to West Point, West Head, and running from Boulder Beach out there, and we've been told there's a sea lion along the track. So we're going to just go and check. He might have wandered off into the bush, in which case we could go to West End and then back to Post Office Cove in a matter of an hour or so, hour and a half, and meet the next ferry. But otherwise we'd have to do a long way around. Anyway, here we go into sea lion territory. Well, now we come back to the main Post Office Point jetty. Go up to Flagstaff Hill, which is described as an historic viewpoint. Originally, when there were people living on this island, the mail was delivered out here, and it was the mail for the whole of Patterson Inlet, which is a vast body of water stretching behind us. And there's an excellent view here. One of the islands offshore, and way over there is an area called the Neck, that was settled by Maoris and retired sealers back in the 1830s, 1840s out there. The early 1900s it was abandoned. By 1920 there was hardly anybody living out there. They'd all moved to Oban. Oban is over the hill in that direction from here. But just love those beaches. The narrow isthmus joining the islands to the mainland. I think that's called Native Island just out there. We're heading out, saying goodbye to Ulva Island. Lovely sheltered little bay here at Post Office Bay. There was a post office here. They used to run the Flagstaff up so that all the people in Patterson Inlet, which is way out here on the right, vast area of water, all got their mail in good time. They'd all come in once the flag went up on the Flagstaff, which was on the highest point in the island. A beautiful day. Looking at Native Island in the foreground and straight ahead of us, boats going by. We stopped in the Snuggery coffee shop in Oban, and this place is full-on 70s decor. From the crochet rug, the couch itself, full-on 70s. The table, and the counter, just stunning. A full 70s vibe to this place. Really is. The Lemonix tables with.
We hope you enjoyed your time near the island. Thanks for travelling with us. In a minute I'll be able to live-checking demonstration in the event of an emergency.